Hi all, we Group H are going to present Mobile Security Assessment for Android applications using Santoku Linux vulnerability. The first vulnerability I am going to explain is the logical acquisition using ADB. Let's move to the implementation part of our first vulnerability, logical acquisition using ADB. First, I am going to open LX terminal. Inside the terminal, we are writing the command adb shell. Then we can see the daemon started successfully. The next command we are going to write is the mount. Next we are going to type df. Next command we are going to type is the exit to get out of the adb shell. The next command we are using is to create a directory. In order to create a directory, we are writing the command sudo space mkdir space minus p space slash path slash to slash store slash files and press enter. We need to give the password. Here also I am showing the error, a vulnerability that the spelling of file is wrong. We need to change that one. Again we need to enter the password, and the next is we need to pull the data and we need to press the enter. It started to pull. So the first step we did is like we use the command adb shell. Next we use the command mount. So this command is used to get the device's file system attached to one file tree. So the pulling process is going on here. It takes some time in order to pull all the files. We can see at last how many files they pulled. Yes, it pulled 730 files. Now what we need to do? We need to change the directory. We are going to change the directory. In order to change the directory, we are using cd space slash path slash to slash store slash files. Inside that, we are using the command ls to check the extracted file. Next, we are typing ls minus a to display all files and subdirectories in the current directory, including dot and dot dot. We can see that there. We are going to type exit. Again, we are going to another LX terminal. Inside that terminal, we are going to type adb shell. So here what we are going to do is we are going to perform a logical acquisition and extract certain files using adb. So the first thing we are going to do is we need to change the directory to slash data slash data. So we are going to write the command here like cd space slash data slash data. After writing that command, it changed the directory to slash data. We need to exit from there and we need to make a directory. So we are going to do first is we need to change the directory. So we are going to type that command cd space, not sudo, it's cd space slash data slash data. Now we change the directory to slash data slash data. We need to list the things. We can see all the list files here. Next is we need to exit from here. Next is we need to make a directory. So what we are going to perform here, we are going to perform logical acquisition. So we need to make a directory sudo space mkdir space slash paths slash telephony, and we need to type the password. We cannot create the directory because the file already exists. So the file already exists there. So we need to do the next thing is we need to pull that one. So we are using the command sudo space adb space pull space slash data slash com dot android dot providers dot telephony space slash path slash telephony. Press enter. The file, yeah, it pulls 6 files. So in order to access the most recently extracted directory, we are using pc man fm. A window will pop up. We can see a window here, a folder. We can see directly without going to the directory using a file manager command, that will be pop up. So here what we need to do is we need to change that folder. That means now it is slash home slash tasking. So we need to change that to path. So click the path, click the telephony, we can see the databases. Directly we can see the databases. So we are going back to the terminal and we change the path like cd space slash path slash telephony. So we are checking. So in order to access the most recently extracted file, we use pc man fm, right? So we are going to select the file manager pc man fm. Yes, now we can see the path is now slash path slash telephony. It's changed from slash home thusney to slash path slash telephony. So we can see the files inside that databases. Here I am going to explain the second and third vulnerability together. The second and third vulnerability are to push, pull a file and install an APK in Santoku. The first step is we need to connect Android device to Santoku workstation. That is, we need to start the emulator. Also, check the USB debugging is enabled on the device on which we are going to exploit. We are going to do each step. So first we need to open the LX terminal. In order to list devices connect to workstation, we use ADB devices. Here we can see the list of devices attached. Next is, in order to get a shell on the emulator, we use ADB shell command. We need to type the ID. Next, we are going to open another window. So after getting a shell on an Android device using ADB, we need to list all the packages. In order to list all the packages, we are using the command adb shell space pm space list space packages. We can see all the packages here. Next is we need to create a file. In order to create a file, we are using the command echo space cause sample file for testing quotes close space greater simple space sample.txt. Using the cat command, we can see what is inside this sample.txt. We can see the content after entering the command. Yes, sample for texting. Now we are going to do the second vulnerability. That means using push command, we are using some exploit. So adb space push space text.txt slash data slash local slash temp. So it's showing like test.txt is not found there. That means I have given the name like sample.txt. So I'm going to change that test to sample. Again, press enter. Yeah, I can see the file size there. Now I, using a command push, I can push the file data from workstation to the emulator. Next is I'm going to pull file located at slash data slash local slash tmp directory on the device. So using, before going to pull, I'm going to test what is inside the sample. It's again showing like sample file for testing. Next is I'm going to pull the file that is located at slash data slash local slash tmp. For that I'm using the command adb space pull space slash data slash local slash tmp. That means temp file space the text name, that means sample.txt, and enter. I'm going to see what is inside my sample.txt. It's showing same like sample file for testing. We can also do remove a file using a command rm. So rm sample.txt, press enter. Here this sample, this first letter starts with capital S. So that's the error here. So I'm going to write the again rm space capital S sample.txt. Press enter. Now I'm going to check is that text file is there or not. That for that I'm using cat space sample.txt. We can see that no such file or directory there because it removed. The third vulnerability is we can install any APK file. For that I'm using the command adb space install space slash user slash share slash af logical hyphen oic slash af logical hyphen oic underscore 1.5.2. Yeah, it's running success. That means using a command adb install, we can directly install an APK file into that device. So if I'm testing, if I'm using the same command to install, what is going to happen? Just check. It's showing like failure. That means existing app has been deleted first. So these are the second and third vulnerabilities. The fourth vulnerability I am going to explain is to kill a process. For that, we need to open LX terminal. To troubleshoot an ADB connection, we use the command adb space kill-server. This will kill the ADB daemon on the device. Next, we are using the command adb space devices. It will be restarted. We can see the daemon started successfully. It will list the devices attached to it. This is the fourth vulnerability. If we troubleshoot using a command like adb kill server, it will kill that daemon on the device and again it will be restarted. This is a vulnerability exploitation. Thank you. The fifth vulnerability is bypassing screen locks. We know that Android devices have screen lock mechanism to prevent unauthorized use of someone's devices. For this exploit, first make sure that USB debugging is turned on. In order to do this exploit, we need to navigate to settings. In the settings, we need to choose security. Inside the security, we need to go to screen lock. So we are going to exploit it using pin. So we need to click pin. We need to choose our pin. So we are going to choose our pin as 1234. So I'm going to type the pin as 1234. We need to continue that one. We need to confirm our pin again. So we need to confirm the pin as 1234 and click OK. We need to go to open a terminal. So here I'm going to open system tools. Inside the system tools there is X terminal. So I'm going to choose system tools and there is Xterm. Xterm. I'm opening that Xterm. So here we are going to write the commands. So the first command I'm going to write here is adb space devices. So adb space devices, it shows list of devices attached. The next command is used for the exploitation. So writing a command we can exploit without entering the pin. So the command is adb space shell space am space start space -n space com dot android dot settings slash com dot android dot settings dot choose log generic space -ez space confirm underscore credentials false space -ci space lock screen space password dot type space zero space negative activity space hyphen clear space hyphen task. We need to enter. While entering, we need to check the background. In the background, we can see unlock selection. So here we can see confirm your PIN, but we are not going to enter the PIN. Instead of, we are going to click the home screen, home button. Directly entered into the page. Without entering the PIN, we can directly enter into the screen. The sixth vulnerability is extracting details of OS, kernel and file system. First, we need to give the PIN number, that is 1234. We are successfully entered into the emulator. We need to open the terminal. So we need to go to accessories and then we need to take the LX terminal. First, we need to run ADB shell. ADB space shell. Next, we need to run ls command. It lists the device directory. So we need to run ls command in order to list the device directory. The next step is we need to display the kernel version. So in order to run that command, we are using cat space slash proc slash version. So we are using the command cat space slash proc slash version. Enter. We can see the kernel version here. Next step is to display CPU information. To run the command cat space slash proc slash CPU information. After running this command, we can see the CPU information. Next, we are going to run ls space minus "l". It will like all Android directory structure list. Next is we are going to run the command cd space slash system. We change the directory and we are going to list that one using the command ls. Next is we are using the command ls space minus "l". Again we are changing the directory to cd space slash system slash app. It changed the directory to app. Then we are going to list that one ls space minus "l". Again we are going to change the directory cd space slash data slash app. It changed the directory to slash data slash app. We list that one. We are going to change the directory cd space slash data slash com dot android dot browser. We are going to list that one ls space minus "l". So next command we are using is cat space slash proc slash file system. Why we are running this command? In order to list the supported file system, we are running this command. We can see all the supported file system. The last one is we need to mount this one. So we are writing adb shell command but showing some error. So again we are trying adb shell. What we are going to do is we are going to take another terminal and we are going to use adb shell. Yeah, inside that one we are going to run the command mount. So while running the command mount, we get devices file system attached to one file tree. This is how the explanation of how to exploit details of OS, kernel and file system. Here I am combining vulnerability 7 and 8 together. Here we are going to extract contact phones and SMS messages from Android devices. Let's get started. First, we need to open Santoku Device Forensic AF Logical IC. We need to run ADB devices here. Here we can see all the devices attached here. Next, we need to run AF Logical-OIC. After giving the password, we can see the files are pulling. Yes, it's success, and press enter to pull into AF Logical. We can see in the emulator all the providers are marked as checked and we need to capture that one. we need to go to the folder. We can see that inside that folder, contact phone, take the contact phone.csv, we can see the contact of the person. It's a vulnerability. We can see the contact of a person. If we go back to the sms.csv, we can see the SMS of that person. This is the another vulnerability. Then we are moving back to the emulator, minimizing each folder. Yes, we back to the emulator, click on the home button. I'm showing how to create an account. We need to create a new account. We need to click on the keep local. Then we can see we need to type the name as Thasni and we need to give the phone number. After entering the name and phone number field, we need to click done. Once it's done, the contact is saved. We can see the contact there. Go back to the home. Then we need to go back to messaging. So we need to start a conversation. We want to send the message to Thasni. So type Thasni, type the message. Here I'm typing the message as hi dear, how are you? And press the send button. This is how we are creating an account. So when we use the command, we can see that contacts. So if we are taking the LX terminal, I'm showing you another vulnerability. If we are taking LX terminal and we are running the command adb devices, press enter. It started successfully. We can see two devices attached. So if we are running the command af logical there, af logical -osc, press enter. We need to give the password. After giving the password, it shows an error, more than one device and emulator. So it is waiting for a device. It's confused. It is waiting for a device. It's showing like the same process what we did for the pull. It's showing like press enter to pull to AF logical. So if we press that one, and if we give the command like AF logical -osc, it is successfully pulled. So these all are the 8 vulnerabilities that we found while exploiting the devices. Thank you.